Typing all of the columns for a select query takes too long, but you need to select all columns except for one or two. There's an easy solution to this, and you can do it with either a few clicks or a simple SQL script. And it works with multiple vendors. We'll start with MySQL. There are two ways to do this. One is with MySQL Workbench and the other is with an SQL script. First, find the table in the Object Explorer on the left. Right-click on the table, select Copy to Clipboard and then Select All statement. Then in your SQL Editor panel, paste the code. The select statement for your table will be shown. You now have all columns in your table in a select query. If you want to remove one or more columns, you can. Simply delete them from the script here. As you can see, the generated query has backticks surrounding each column name and the table name. This is so MySQL can correctly run the query if the columns contain reserved words. If you don't want the backticks, you can remove them by doing a find and replace. Click Edit, then Find and Replace. In the first box, enter a backtick which should be next to the 1 on your keyboard. In the second box, leave it blank. Click Replace All and all of the backticks will be removed. So that's the first method. The second way is to query the data dictionary, which is a range of tables and views managed by the database that stores information about the database. We can query a table called informationschema.columns, and we filter on the table name that we want. We can see all information about the columns in this table here. I've added all of the queries used in this video in my GitHub repository, which is linked in the description below. This is okay, but we want to generate an SQL statement from this. To do this, we can just select the column name column, but we want to add a comma after each one so we can use it in a select statement. We'll use the concat function to do this. We run this and see the output, which is a list of columns with a comma after it. Then we select all of these rows by clicking here and pressing Ctrl A. Then right-click on the results and select Copy Row Unquoted. If you just copy the rows by pressing Ctrl C, you'll get all of the columns inside quotes, which means the select query won't work. Once you've copied the rows without quotes, paste it somewhere into an SQL editor. We have a list of columns here. You can add the select keyword at the start and the from table name at the end, and you have a select query. You can then remove any columns you don't need from your select statement, and there you have it, a select query that has all but one column. You could enhance this to automatically add the select and from keywords to the query by using a union all keyword, and even exclude a column by filtering it with a where clause, but this is the starting point. If you want to save time with your SQL queries, you'll love the SQL cheat sheets I have created. You can find the link to them in the description below. Next, we'll see how to do this in dbeaver on a Postgres database. Using dbeaver, we can find our table in the Object Explorer. Right-click on the table, select General SQL, then Select. A window will appear. You can see a preview of the select statement that is generated. You have some options you can change, but you can just use the default settings. Click Copy to copy the select statement to the clipboard. In an SQL editor, you can paste the code. You'll see the select statement here. Now you can remove the column you don't need and your select query is ready. The second method allows you to use an SQL query, and the query is exactly the same as MySQL. We'll run the query here on the informationschema.columns table. We can see the results here. Click in the results set and press Ctrl A to select all rows. A simple copy and paste will work in dbeaver, so you can right-click and select Copy or press Ctrl C. In an SQL editor, you can paste the column names and you'll see them here. Then add a select keyword to the beginning and the from table at the end, and the query is ready. You can then remove the column you don't need from the query. Let's see how to do it in SQL Server with SSMS. Using the Object Explorer, you can expand the database, then Tables, and find the table you're looking for. Right-click on the table, click on Script Table As, then select and then New Query Editor window. After a moment, a new Query Editor window will appear with a select query for your table. There is a Use Database statement here that you may or may not want to keep. The bulk of the script is the select query. It has the square brackets around each of the columns, which you can leave if you like or remove with a find and replace. Then remove the column you don't need in your query and you have your select query. You can also do this using the data dictionary, just like MySQL and Postgres. You can query from the information schema.columns table using the table name as a filter. We can run this query and see the results here. Select all of the rows in the results, press Ctrl+C to copy them, and paste them into an SQL editor. You can then add the select keyword, from keyword, and a table. Then remove the column you don't want and you have your query here. Finally, let's see how to do it in Oracle with SQL Developer. To generate it using the Object Explorer is a little different than the other editors. There's no right-click option. Instead, you can drag a table from the Object Explorer into an SQL editor. A window will appear asking you to choose the kind of query you want to generate. Choose the select query and then click Apply. The query is generated and shown here. You can then remove the column you don't need. We can also use the data dictionary just like the other databases. But the query is different. Instead of querying the information schema, we query a view called all_tab_cols. We can still use the concat function and still filter on the table name. Make sure that the table name is in uppercase, as that's how they are stored in Oracle. Run this query and you'll see a list of your columns. You can select all of the rows in the result and copy them. Paste them into an SQL editor and you'll see the columns here. Add the select keyword at the start and add the from keyword at the end and your query is ready. You can remove the column you don't need from your query as well. The column names are shown here in uppercase. If you want them in lowercase instead, you can easily change this by highlighting the columns and then right-click and then select to upper lower init cap. This will change the columns to lowercase. Generating the columns like this can save you time when working with large tables or longer queries. There's another helpful technique you can use to save you time and improve complex queries, so watch this video next to find out what it is and how you can use it. Thanks for watching.